passed second reading in the House. When I talk about the bill, I talk about Candace Hefner's simple, straightforward bill to simply get rid of the long gun registry. That's the registration of rifles and shotguns. I had a bill previous to that, C-301, which went a little farther, streamlining the licensing system, you know, other very good cost-saving measures. The licensing is something that needs to be worked on as well. But the opposition could pick at some little things here, and the leaders of the Liberals and the New Democrats, you know, could whip their MPs into shape, saying, well, you know, there's other things in this bill, it's not just straightforward. So Candace Hefner brought forward C-391. That passed second reading with a bit of coaxing and pressure on some of the MPs on the Liberal and NDP side.
I think a few of them actually that voted for it, anyway,
oh, yes.
Really were reluctant, but they came on side.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, a little bit of coaxing from some of their constituents helped. And yeah, so we had 20 votes from the opposition, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to get it through. When it passes second reading, that's in principle should be the end of it. However, it's gone to committee now, and the opposition, again, the coalition of the three parties, is throwing sand in the gears. They're delaying it as long as possible. Hopefully, in their mind, I guess, maybe we'll have an election in the fall or sometime and it won't get through the House. But at this point, it's in committee, and that's where the battle is going to be right now. We have to be careful that it's not amended to undermine what we're trying to do. And then it goes back to the House for what's called report stage. If they do amend it, we can undo it. If we get support from the opposition, go to third reading and then over to the Senate. Now, what's happened in the Senate is very important to us. If the Prime Minister had not prorogued the House, we would not get that bill through the Senate, because the Constitution of Canada says that you cannot change the structure of Senate committees unless you start a new session of Parliament. So for me and my battle, getting rid of the gun registry, this was very, very important, and many people don't realize that proroguing Parliament was necessary in order to grab a hold of the Senate committees. And so once we get it through the House of Commons in a minority parliament, that won't be easy, but then it should be smooth sailing, I hope, through the Senate. So that's where it's at.
And I think it's important for people to know as well that when the Liberals have control of the Senate committees, just because your bill comes from the House of Commons approved by the House, if it should pass, for example, third reading, right, they don't have to consider it. You know, they can delay, they can choose to bring up other studies, they can table it, there's all sorts of things. There's all sorts of bills over the years that we've been here that have died on the order paper without having been pushed through the various Senate committees and whatnot, or even if they've made it through the Senate committees, if they don't get assent from the Governor General. Yeah, so it's, yeah. It's
that's a good point, Rob. Yeah, I mean,
they
could have just sat on it in the Senate, and so I was not optimistic when this first came up, and we did pass it at second reading. It wouldn't have gone anywhere in the Senate the way it was presently constituted.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Now, you've also been instrumental in setting up an outdoor caucus inside the party, which I think is fantastic, and I heard those gentlemen up at the microphones, you know, singing the good songs with regard to, you know, heritage and all these important things. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of postmodernist urban liberals who have issues with firearms. They don't understand livelihoods or protecting livestock and predators is a concern. Do you think that those people are too far removed from what has to happen in order to provide them, you know, the leather sandals and, you know, the steak that they eat and various things? Do they fail to understand the importance of firearms in people's lives?
There does tend to be an urban-rural divide on this issue. It shouldn't be that way, because if you scratch below the surface on this and take a look at the gun registry, it doesn't help people in urban areas any more than in rural areas, because, for example, in Toronto, over 90% of the handguns that are involved in crime and the police recover are unregistered, and we've had to register handguns since 1934. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious that, you know, the criminal doesn't worry about this. However, even with the 10% or so that are registered, it doesn't affect them either. I remember the story of Mom Boucher sitting in court there, arms folded
and
like this.
Mom Boucher, Hell's
is
Angel?
The head of Hell's Angels, yeah, very important.
Yeah.
You know, and the police know the head